Friends, hi, Happy New Year. I hope you're well and that you've had a great Christmas. And those that have been off work, that you've had a chance to rest. Welcome to day 122 of B365. We're now over a third of the way through the year. I realised that over Christmas the readings dropped off a little bit, but over the next few days or a couple of weeks we'll be catching up. So there's no problem at all. We're still easily on course to finish within the year. But I hope you've enjoyed the rest over Christmas. And one of my New Year's resolutions is to get back on track with the readings. It's been difficult. It's taken more time than I expected. But I'm determined. We're going to get back on track. So yeah, stick with us. Today's readings. Firstly, Deuteronomy. Today's passage. A major theme that sticks out is one of obedience. And if you look at chapter 27, verses 9 and 10, what that's saying is that as the people of God, they, the Israelites, but also us today, need to obey. There needs to be obedience there. We can't just be paying lip service. We can't just be calling ourselves Christians without having anything to show for it. Our faith needs to show in how we live our lives. And in chapter 28 of Deuteronomy, we see that there's blessings for obedience. And there's a long list there that we read today of blessings and of promises for those that are obedient, but there's also a long list of punishments for disobedience. And I think it's important that we take those two together and look at them in context. Now, I've been to a lot of churches that promise blessing, and a lot of them use phrases from this passage. Just having a quick flick through, I hear a lot of the time that you'll be the head and not the tail. That's taken from this chapter. The fruit of your womb will be blessed, your crops will be blessed, that God will open the storehouse, that he will rain on you, that God will grant you abundant prosperity. All of this I hear a lot of the time, all taken from this chapter. But too often it's not said in the context that blessing will come as obedience to God. Sadly, too often I hear those phrases used and promises in churches that God will bless you as long as you put enough money in the offering. Friends, please do not be deceived by that. Don't be tricked by it. Don't be led down the wrong path. But I've also been to churches that speak a lot about punishment without putting that in the context of there also being abundant blessing. In some churches, God always seems to be angry at something or other. There's always things that we've done wrong that he's going to punish, without mention that actually, yes, God is sometimes angry, but he is also quick to bless. Look at chapter 28, verse 66. It says, "You will live in constant suspense, filled with dread and never sure of your life." And what sticks out to me is that there's a lot of people, particularly if you like now that the economy is all over the place and in a bit of a mess, there's a lot of people that applies to. A lot of people living in suspense, filled with dread and not sure of their life. Maybe once they put their security in maybe their job or their finances or the stock market, and now all these things are messed up and there's no security in them. They don't know what's going to happen. But friends, if that applies to you or to someone that you know, let me encourage you, or would you encourage them, that in Jesus there is hope. In Jesus there is life, there is security, and there are blessings. And that in uncertain times, Jesus is the only answer. On into Luke, and in today's reading there's four big passages. We see the story of the Good Samaritan, we see Mary and Martha, we see Jesus teaching on some prayer, and then driving out demons. But what I want to focus on is just one verse, and that's Luke 11:23, where Jesus says that he who is not with me is against me. And friends, let me just encourage you as we're starting out in a new year. We need to make a decision. We can't be sitting on the fence for this one. This isn't an area where we can pick and choose or be a little bit of both. Jesus is clear. We need to decide. We're either with him or we're against him. But look at verse 28. This ties us in with Deuteronomy. And Jesus says, "Blessed are those who hear the word of God and obey it." Don't be misled. Sometimes that can be difficult. It can be hard, it can be confusing, it can be a lonely path. Sometimes it can seem that we're so different to those around us because the Word of God teaches us to live lives that are so different to perhaps our friends or our colleagues. And it doesn't make life easy all the time. There can be difficult demands. But Jesus is saying that there are blessings in that. And so cling on to those promises. And Proverbs, finally, what we see in Proverbs today is just the contrast, if you like, between the wicked and the righteous, as it puts it, or those that are for God and those that are against God, or, if you like, the obedient and the disobedient. And verse 7 in Proverbs says that those without God have got no hope. When those people die, everything comes to nothing. If you like, there's no reason to life or anything that they build up while they're here, either in terms of money or power or anything. The minute they die is gone. Whereas those that are with God, in verse 8 it says, are rescued from trouble. We have hope. Let me leave you just with that reassuring reminder. And I pray that you have a great day and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. God bless.